You know, if you're a young skater and you say you've been named after a marquee Toronto Maple Leaf because your mother and your father had a great idea for your life, it's not a surprise that person will eventually use that as motivation to seek out the best for his career. So today we're going to talk about the player named after the great Bob Nevin, Nevin Markwart. Now, Nevin Markwart it best be described as one of the most interesting players of his generation. He overcame long odds and overcame many major injuries during his career to be one of the top two-way left wingers of his generation. Even though he didn't play long in the NHL, his seasons were productive, and again, he was a role model for a lot of people because they affectionately called him the Kamikaze Kid. Now, born in Toronto, Ontario, but his hometown was Regina. He broke in with the Regina Saskatchewan AAA League in '81 with 121 points in 65 games. Now, he graduated to Regina of the SJHL with 54 points in 82 and 45 games, but Regina of the WHL, the top club, he had 14 points in 25 games. Now, in '83, his draft year, he had 66 points in 43 games, including 27 assists. Now, he was highly ranked by the NHL Scouting Bureau because of his two-way play, number 16 overall, but the Bruins took him 21st overall in the '83 draft. Now, the injury bug that plagued him during his career really started in Major Junior when he suffered a separated shoulder in January '83, which cut a number of games for his career. Now, a very cerebral guy, he studied computer science at the University of Regina during his Major Junior days. Now, he also turned down an offer to attend Princeton to instead play Major Junior hockey. Now, he started his minor hockey career as a goalie at age 6. He grew up in Regina because that's where his father worked in a local steel mill. With Regina of the Saskatchewan AAA League, that's where he became major prominence. There was published reports at the time he was considered one of the top midget prospects in all of Canada, and those numbers really tend to bear it out, especially how he was protecting the bigger and more aggressive players on his team. Now, 5'10", 170, not the biggest drink of water. He broke in with Boston against Quebec October 6, '83, and eventually played 309 games in the NHL, 41 goals, 68 assists for 109 points, and 1 goal in 19 playoff games. Now, Nevin, like I said, he was named after former Toronto Maple Leafs forward Bob Nevin, who had been traded to the New York Rangers earlier in the year. Just because Bob was traded didn't mean his parents were going to not name him. Now, Nevin also scored a goal during a Maple Leafs game on the night of Markwart's birth in Toronto, so that showed what was going on. Now, a lot of controversy when he left Boston. He was placed on waivers on all things Valentine's Day in '92, and Calgary picked him up. Now, he had quite a career in major pro and minor pro. He played everywhere. Now, the Regina Pats, again, that's 66 points, 43 games. Rookie campaign with Boston, one of the better in recent memory, 30 points in 70 games. But for some reason, in '85, he kind of lost his scoring touch. He only scored 4 assists in the regular season with no goals in 26 games, sent back to Hershey for seasoning. He made it all the way back up in '86, 22 points in 65 games, again, as a two-way forward. In '87, he played 19 games with the Bruins in 64 contests. He had 19 points in 64 contests, 10 goals. But he also had a short stint with the Moncton Golden Flames, and he put up 6 points in 3 games, including 3 goals. '88, again, injuries were plaguing him. He only played 25 games, 13 points in 25 contests. '89, he missed most of the season, only had 1 game with the Maine Mariners. '99, he missed pretty well all the season. '91, limited as well due to injury, only had 3 goals for the Bruins and 5 goals with the Mariners in only 44 combined games. He played with EHC Biel Benny of the NWA, but made it back to Boston, and also played with the Maine Mariners in '92, again, injury plagued. '92, he also played with Calgary, so he played with in 3 countries with 4 teams in the same year. And he wrapped up his minor league career with the Springfield Indians with 2 goals in 7 games and 93. Now, you're probably wondering why I mention all these injuries for a certain player. Well, there's a reason. Nevin was considered, not saying an enforcer, but he was an aggressive player. He led Boston in penalty minutes in 86 and 87 with 207 and 225, and was a big factor in Boston making the finals in 88. Now, he played 8 regular season games for Boston that went to the 1990 Stanley Cup Finals, but missed playoffs due to injury. Now, he played on a line with Barry Pedersen and Rick Middleton for Boston in the early part of 84 before the Cam Neely trade. Now, this is where the injuries came in. He was hampered during the 84 season with a broken right pinky finger, suffered during a game against Buffalo. However, he didn't miss any games. 84 again, sprained ligaments in his right knee against Calgary. He missed the entire 94 playoffs with a bruised left shoulder, suffered against Montreal. Missed part of the 85 season with a bruised hip, an injury suffered against Pittsburgh in the season opener. He missed part of the 86 season with a hip pointer injury, suffered during the game against St. Louis. He missed the end of his 86 regular season, the entire playoffs, with a strained ligament in his right knee, an injury suffered during Boston's March 22nd game versus the Islanders. He missed Boston's entire training camp and started the 87 season due to contract dispute. He finally signed a one-year contract in October 86 and spent his first 3 games of 87 on a conditioning stint in Moncton. He did not make the 87 season debut with Boston until Halloween Eve, October 30th, 86 versus Montreal. Now again, injury bug. Missed part of the 88 season with a dislocated left shoulder, suffered against LA. He missed a month of the season. Missed half of the 88 season with a re-aggravation of a left shoulder injury in a game against Montreal. The injury required surgery on November 18, 87, and he did not return until February 21st against New Jersey. Now he missed the remainder of the 88 season and most of the playoffs with a strained groin, an injury suffered during Boston's March 26, 88 game versus Quebec. He did not return to action until Game 1 of the playoffs, and re-aggravated the injury in the contest. Again, he did not return to action until Game 4 of the Boston Stanley Cup Finals versus Edmonton. Now, he missed the entire Boston training camp in 88 and start of 89 while recovering from arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. He missed all the 89 regular season and the entire playoffs with strained abdominal muscles, an injury suffered during the 88 season, which flared up after Markwart returned to the Bruins on October 29, 88. He played 1 game with Maine before pain in the abdomen forced him out of the lineup. Again, this required surgery. Missed Boston's entire 89 training camp and started the 89-90 season while recovering from abdominal surgery. Did not make his debut until the game against Edmonton on October 13th. He then missed the remainder of the 90 season and the entire 90 playoffs with a dislocated shoulder, an injury suffered during Boston's October 29 game in Montreal. He re-aggravated the injury, fracturing his shoulder during Boston's practice on November 13, 89. He required season-ending surgery on November 18th. Additional surgery was performed on February 20th in 1990. He also missed part of the 92 season with a twisted knee, suffered prior to joining Calgary in February of 92. Now, again, we're talking about this. Again, very cerebral guy. You earned an executive MBA degree at Northeastern University after retirement, graduating in 94. But talking about the injuries again, he missed part of the 91 season with those torn abdominal muscle, suffered while playing for Maine. He missed part of the 91 season with a broken ankle, again an injury suffered while playing for Maine. Now he decided to remain in the Boston area after retirement, living in the great community of Hanover. He's also been active in the Old Timers charity hockey after retirement, playing on the Boston Bruins alumni squad. Now, we know hockey is a tough game, but I wish people could understand this. Nevin was a tremendously talented player, but you're just lucky that he didn't kill himself. The size he had and the style of play he had led to major injuries. He was giving, just like Brendan Gallagher, he was giving up upwards of 50 pounds, 3 inches to most of the people who was playing. But you look at the penalty minutes total, ladies and gentlemen, from, let's say, the Regina Pat Canadians. 193, 180, 241, 91, 121, 36, 79, 207, 236, and 85. So yeah, he played his game. But what really stands out for me, ladies and gentlemen, when he was that top midget prospect, we knew he was going to make something in his career. If he would have maybe toned down the amount of style he had, but most of his injuries, I know they came from checks or giving up poundage. But like I said, Boston Bruins, like he played 8 seasons and 1 season with Calgary, pretty well injured all the time. And for him to play 309 NHL goals is a miracle, because to come back from all these major injuries, we would never know how good he was, because again, he was playing with, if he was playing like with 10 cents, he was 2 cents short all the time. I do remember though, in '84 when he broke in at 70 games, the Nesson crew basically said this guy is kamikaze, and that's his style. But every time he scored, the Boston Garden would just explode, because '84 again, that was a transition year. Cam Neely wasn't there yet. Ricky Middleton was still around, so it was a weird time, because players like Nevin were coming in, and some lasted and some didn't. And he busted through the ceiling, but I think he injured himself when he did it. But I know he only played a short while in Maine and Moncton, but he was very popular there, because everybody in Moncton, as we know, they're either Boston or Montreal fans. So for him to play in Moncton those 3 games was a treat for the fans. So ladies and gentlemen, that's our latest on our Boston Bruins alumni. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, or subscribe. By the way, if you ever get sore, just remember what Nevin Markwart went through with his injuries, and you may not be as sore, because if you reread the list or listen to the list of injuries he had, it gives you a little ache. But Nevin, like I said, talented player. He has my respect, and I do remember the Quebec announcer said, "It's too bad he's a Nordique." That's the best compliment I can give any player. Thanks for listening. Bye.